New movie from Amazon, The Contractor, starring Chris Pine. Wow. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I've been away for quite a while now, but I am back to make some new videos and new content for you by popular request. Anyway, I'm back again because I've just watched a new movie with Chris Pine called The Contractor, which I thought was great. This video is probably going to get into some light spoilers. I'm not going to go spoiler heavy because I want people to watch this and find out for themselves what the movie's about. There are a few twists and turns, but on the whole I thought it was a solid action drama. It wasn't action heavy, it was very tense and quite intense at times, and I found the characters compelling. I found the story pretty decent. It was pretty run-of-the-mill, if nothing else. The performance from Chris Pine I thought was second to none. He brought a lot of weight and drama to the role that probably lesser actors wouldn't have. So one thing I will say about this movie is within the first 10 to 15 minutes we know quite a bit about Chris Pine's character, James Harper. He is a Marine. He's part of a special forces group. He has a family and a son. We get to know a lot about his character through a process called Show Don't Tell, in which the audience is actually shown things about the character rather than having them go through lengthy conversations telling the audience everything that they need to know, and thus undermining their intelligence. So what we see within the first 10 to 15 minutes, we see Chris Pine doing a lot of what you would say regimental exercise. He's doing press-ups, he's doing running through the woods. We know he has a motorbike. We see him in a cabin in the woods also. It looks like a little hideaway or retreat that he has. And in that hut, if you like, we see him meticulously cleaning his sidearm or pistol. He has it in pieces and he's cleaning it and scrubbing it and putting it back together. So we know that he's obviously in the military. We see him also suited up. We see the badges on his arms, the Air Force, not the Air Force, the Special Forces. But he's also in what looks like a medical centre. So he's being tested. We see injuries to his body, including a horrendous scar on his left knee, which made me cringe. So obviously he's trying to overcome a kind of mild disability. This is just through watching the movie. There's hardly a word spoken and we know pretty much everything we need to know about his character. We see flashbacks as well of him with his father. We know that his father was in the military, so obviously he's followed in his footsteps. We also see him and his father, Chris Pine's character, as a child around 10 or 11 years old, in a tattoo parlour of all places, getting an American flag tattooed on his right arm, and his father sitting there watching, giving him the thumbs up, etc. And then he pays for the tattoo. Chris Pine, as a child, pays for the tattoo. His father gives him a card, which is a birthday card saying happy birthday dad. Takes the money out of the card. I don't know whether it was $1 or $5 or what, but it's obviously something that he's given to his father for a birthday present, and his father has spent that money on a tattoo for his son. So that kind of says a lot about his father's questionable actions and what kind of person he is. Anyhow, let's get into what the movie's actually about. Like I said, I'm gonna try not to give too many spoilers away. So we know who he is. He gets discharged from the army, so he's obviously fallen on hard times. He's got bills coming in, he's got a wife and child to support, and he doesn't know where to turn to. And who should turn up? One of my favourite actors, Ben Foster. He was in one of my favourite movies, and I was getting flashbacks of Lone Survivor. Ben Foster. Okay, if you look at Ben Foster's IMDb page, he's as an actor, he's got 61 credits. So he's been in 61 movies. Some of them here that I have seen. Let's have a look. The Contractor, obviously. He plays Chris Pine's friend, Mike, who was also in the forces. Hostiles. Hell or High Water there, in which he also starred with Chris Pine. So we get that chemistry again on screen. It's as if they've known each other all their lives. There's a great chemistry between them. They're obviously brothers in arms, so you know that there's going to be that camaraderie throughout the movie. Ben Foster offers Chris Pine's character a job as a contractor. He tells him that it's good money, it's an easy job, there's not too much danger involved. So he basically persuades Chris Pine to come and have a meeting with the guy who's in charge of the unit. Lo and behold, it turns out to be Kiefer Sutherland of all people. This movie's already starting to stack up in terms of a quality cast. So he meets with Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland goes through a few things with him, tells him what he can expect, what Kiefer Sutherland expects from Chris Pine. They've already got a task set up which takes place in Berlin. They have to go in, capture a guy who's a scientist, interrogate him, and then there'll be an extraction back on home soil. Everything's cushy, payday. No, doesn't go like that. They turn up in Berlin, they manage to get into the scientist's building, they capture him, interrogate him, find some files. Turns out that apparently he was creating a virus for biological warfare, which is obviously a threat to the national security of the United States. Once they're in there, Ben Foster ties up the scientist, interrogates him, finds out where the files are, downloads the files. Everything's cushy, and then Chris Pine actually has to, let's say, eliminate the guy, and then they cover the tracks, they set fire to the building and leave, and that's where it all starts to go awry. They get into a conflict with the local police. There's a firefight. Ben Foster and Chris Pine manage to escape, but Ben Foster has been injured. They manage to find their way into a kind of sewage tunnel. Chris Pine patches up Ben Foster. Once Ben Foster's back on his feet, it turns out that Chris Pine's knee is absolutely goosed, so he can't walk. He needs 48 hours rest. He tells Ben Foster, go on, get the fuck out of here, and that's where it kind of kicks off from there. It's basically Chris Pine trying to escape Germany and get back to home soil, and he comes across all sorts of obstacles along the way. There are other assets, if you like, involved that are trying to come after him and try to kill him. Got to get around them. He ends up in a safe house with Eddie Marsan, that you will know. He's the guy, you might recognise him. What's he been in? I've seen him in The World's End with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. He was also in the Sherlock Holmes movies. Too many to mention. He's been in a lot of TV series. So yeah, he's no lightweight when it comes to the entertainment industry. Eddie Marsan turns up, helps Chris Pine out with a safe house, somewhere to stay, manages to patch him up. Eventually Chris Pine gets on his way. He manages to get back to home soil. I'm not going to go into too much detail with this movie. All I want to say is you really need to watch it. I found it really quite satisfying. It wasn't absolutely amazing. It was quite akin to the Jason Bourne movies. Probably closer to the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner. I enjoyed it more than I did his Jack Ryan movie that he did. I found that what I remember of it, I found it quite boring. This movie was quite tense all the way through. He was constantly challenged with trying to find a way back home, and then what was he going to do when he got home, because he knew that the unit that had double crossed him, he knew that they were going to come after him, and they were going to come after his family. So he has to work out the best way to deal with that situation. And ultimately, yes, I found it satisfying. Not amazing, but really, really worth watching. And 100 times better than some of the absolute shite that Amazon's been producing at the minute, honestly. So yes, that is my recommendation of the day, The Contractor. Now then, I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent with my videos. If you like the content that I do produce, please consider subscribing. If you want to start a conversation about this movie or anything else, or you have any suggestions for me whatsoever, please leave a comment down below. Okay, that's it from me. Enjoy the movie, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye now.